Okay, so who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
What's up? My name is Justin Brown. I am an online personal trainer. I like to travel around the world and teach people how to look good naked. It's
Okay,
basically what I do.
that's perfect. Everybody wants that, right? So can you tell me a little bit about yourself, just how you got started, where you're currently located?
So I am currently in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I moved here because Trump kind of forced me to move here. See, something happened to America on January 20th,
A lot of us
and
felt like that, right?
yeah, and so I decided that it wasn't safe being black and it wasn't safe being in America. So I decided to move to Thailand. And I mean, that was, I say that in a joking way,
Yeah,
but I'm kind of serious too.
yeah,
Because it was one of the things that really pushed me here, on top of the cost of living and the friendly nature of the people.
yeah,
I'm loving living here so far.
yeah. So how did you get interested in the fitness realm?
So I got interested in online training about 4.5, maybe five, no, about 4.5 years ago.
Okay, okay,
And what really was the fact that I was able to make money even though I still had my offline personal training business. So I
yeah,
used to be a private sector personal trainer.
okay,
And I worked with doctors, lawyers, celebrities, politicians. I worked with a bunch of different people, usually people who have influence and affluence.
yeah, yeah,
So, even 1 hour of my time with them, it was a lot of money. So for me at that time, I didn't really need a lot of extra income. But
yeah,
I just started noticing that with me training them, I had so much free time.
yeah,
And, I only wanted to study in my trade for so long. I'm like, okay, look, I already know how many bones are in the body. I'm tired of reading this stuff. So what could I do to maybe change the trajectory of my future, or
yeah.
just figure out things online? So I started building a website, and then from there I just started really changing things and started to add more content online. And I started noticing that certain demographics of people were interacting with my material, and I was like, well, wait, where did these people come from? Like, what's
Yeah,
happening here? And so then I started realizing, like, every single person who comes to my website, like, that's a legitimate person.
yeah,
Sometimes I think we can look at numbers and we can say, oh,
yeah,
okay, I only had an 8% increase. But you forget that
yeah,
8%, depending on what your numbers are, but that could be something massive. And it doesn't
yeah,
even matter. Those are actual people.
yeah,
And when I started looking at it like that, and started thinking more about how I could touch the lives of the people who were around me and people whom I may never even meet,
yeah.
then my entire world just started changing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you start building relationships off of that, and just you're really kind of inspired based on this community that you were building?
Yes, because online relationships are just as real and they're just as relevant as offline relationships. So I've been able to build an online community called the JB Fit Crew. And the JB Fit Crew is an online community of people who are dedicated to helping one another reach their long term goals of losing fat, building
Yeah,
muscle, gaining energy, and looking good naked.
nice.
So when I built
Love
this
that.
community, right? So when I built this community, I started making sure that the content that I was providing was relevant. I made sure that it was current, and I always made sure that it was packaged up very nicely, because I think we all know that a lot of the magic in a business is in the packaging.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I started making sure that all of my content was quality. And then from there, I started learning more about monetization. And
Okay.
I started learning that I had to change my own mindset and how I
Yeah,
thought about money.
yeah,
Because a lot of us feel like if we're not working a 9 to 5 job, or 9 to 9 now,
yeah,
Monday through Friday, if we're not dressing up in a suit, then we're not going to be anything successful in life. Well, I am here
yeah,
to tell you that that is wrong thinking.
yeah,
And once you learn how to change your mindset around monetization, and then you can apply it in an online space, and you're able to fill that space with your passion, then an entire world changes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not just an online personal trainer. Now I've opened facets and doors for mentoring and coaching and
Yeah.
partnerships, and I have different groups that pay me money. I have consultations, and all of those things afford me travel, and I can literally make money while I'm standing in front of temples.
That's awesome.
I literally made money just to get on the plane to fly here to Thailand.
See, I just envision the whole naked part too, as you're talking about. You're in front of these temples, naked.
But you know what? Even the naked, even what I teach my people is that although our first instinct is to think of nudity, because it's just our first instinct, I also want you to think about being naked within your own thoughts and your own mindset, and just being authentic with who you are.
No, I love
matter
that.
what
Just
that truth looks
strip
like.
down, right?
Just totally, just let go of this box, this normative box that people put you in. You know, it blows people's minds when I tell them that I have moved to Thailand, because they're like, well, you don't know the language. What about this? What about that? And in my mind, I'm like, those are all the reasons why I should be going there. Yeah. Get out of your comfort zone and stay there. Yeah. Is what I like to teach people.
I love it.
But primarily when you do that, when you stay out of your comfort zone, it forces you to find out who you are. Yeah. And that's where the other part of the naked comes in, because stripping down to your naked self, when you don't have the outside influence or the peer pressure sometimes of people around you encouraging you one way or another, you are forced to make certain decisions, and then you have to deal with the consequences. And I believe that these sorts of solo travels, or just traveling in general, really helps people to discover that. And if people are able to find their passion and bottle it up and package it up and figure out how to monetize it, then they would be able to travel freely and not have to worry about if I'm going to make money today or tonight, because they're going to have products that are evergreen products that are able to be marketed to forever on Facebook. Yeah. And so on. And I hear people say this too. Yes, I have some systems on Automate that cost me money to automate. Yeah, that's fine. But what is a system that costs me maybe $20 a month to automate if I make $6,000 a month off that one system?
Yeah, it's nothing, right?
They're like, yeah, but it's going to go up one day. What else happens when I have to pay more money? That's just what it is. But I mean, look at all the money that I've already accumulated.
Yeah, exactly.
So people have this fearful mindset. And what the mindset is that they're afraid of giving, because we've always been taught that, we want to protect our secrets, protect anything that you make, and so on and so forth. Yep. And there is a certain level of legal protection that you need to take. But there's also a certain amount of give that you have to give in order for people to want to invest in you or to see you succeed online. Yeah. So that's one of the mindset blocks that people have to overcome. Yeah. And with all of that being said, that's what I teach when I talk about transparency and being naked.
I love it. No, I love it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things you're talking about, there's just so much depth to them that, I just love that stuff. I definitely want to dive into some of your travels here in a second, but before we get to that part, I want to dive into the fact, are you pretty much self-taught then? Did you kind of learn a lot of this stuff just as you go? Or if somebody's listening to this, do you have tips for them? Like, let's say if they're just getting started, like, where should they start?
That's a great question. Okay, so if you were just starting in online anything, again, I primarily teach fitness professionals, but I help other people develop their passion and figure out ways to monetize it as well. So if you're just getting started in anything, the first thing is to try your best to start with free. Yeah. Do not ask a coach or someone who does this professionally to give you their time for free. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is sign up to people's email list for free. Yep. Or go and try to attend free webinars. You see what I'm saying here? Yep. So use free resources that are out there to help you at least build a strategy and build a platform. Yeah. And then as you start to figure out what's going to work for you with whatever your business is, The second tip is that the moment you start making money online, you must reinvest that money to your business, making sure that everything, that all of your systems are sustainable.
Yeah.
And then the third tip is that once you have developed a system that brings you money, whether it's if you can make $1 a month, you can make $1 million a month.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of scalability at that point. You just have to learn. So what I'm trying to get at here is the third tip is to make sure that you find an online strategist or an online coach or someone who is succeeding in the online space with whatever it is that you want to do, and then pay that individual to help you get the advanced information that you need. Because I've seen people out here who have been doing what I'm doing in the fitness world. So I've been doing it for, like I said, 4.5, 5 years or so. I've been seeing people who have been here for 12 or 13 years who don't have half the following, half the money, half the resources, half the knowledge that I do. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm trying to say that the tips that I used were to try to build the business for free, which is possible to do online. And then once I started figuring that out, I made sure that my resources were good enough for me to then find a professional that could teach me more.
Awesome.
Because these people who are out here trying to, nickel and dime YouTube, and they're trying to learn the whole process for free, there's so much that you're missing about your unique business. You need someone to pull you aside and say, okay, we're going to do a business audit on you. We need to check your funnels. We need to check your paperwork. We need to make sure that all of your systems are in place and you have the latest updated everything. We need to make sure that you're understanding email engagement. We need to talk to you about your social media habits. We need to talk to you about who else you need to hire in your business to relieve some of the stress off of you. So those are some of the things that someone who's been doing this professionally are going to be able to show you, which are going to save you heartache and pain down the line. Yeah. Trust me.
If somebody's just getting going, you hear just kind of in the world all the time now, just like mentors and all of that. But if somebody's in a specific niche, would you recommend that they just go online, try to find the key players in that niche that they either could pay to have time with them or somehow relate to them? Or like, what are some good strategies that you would recommend kind of related to finding these people, and then once you found them, how you get just time with them, whether that's you're paying them or whatnot?
That's great. That's great. So I don't recommend, if you are a small fish in a big pond, I don't recommend that you, the small fish, go directly to the big. I just don't recommend that you do that. Yeah. And the reason being is because it usually costs a lot of money to even get in that influential circle that you're trying to get into. And if you're just starting out, if you don't have the resources, then you just don't have the resources. Yeah. But what you can start to do is to make sure that you do every single free webinar, every single free everything that individual has to offer you. Yeah. Whoever it is that you're trying to get in contact with. And they're usually going to give you some sort of a special deal, some sort of a special something to join some private coaching. Yeah. As time goes on and you're able to start to afford their coaching based off of their tips and tools, then you may want to invest in that private coaching, and then you would be able to talk to them that way, or sending in testimonials of actual success that you have received through their either paid help or their free help. That always helps. Yeah. When I get testimonials, it instantly, even some of my programs that cost thousands of dollars, it almost makes me want to give those programs for free. Yeah. Just when I know, I'm like, oh my goodness, this person has been following me, or they've been interacting with my material for so long, and they've gotten this success. They've lost this amount of weight. They now have this new idea with monetization or something like that. So sending in testimonials to people that you're trying to get in front of is a great way too.
Yeah. So I want to get into some of your psychology there, because obviously you have the whole online business that helps you just sustain your lifestyle and all of that. But what does that make you feel when somebody gives you that testimonial and you just know you have that impact on their life? And that's whether, let's say there's a travel blogger that has similar and you've inspired somebody to travel the world, or what you're doing where somebody's lost 100 pounds and now they look good naked.
I'll tell you. So this is going to take a minute. But here's what it makes me feel like. It's affirmation. And I'll tell you why it's affirmation for me. Because I used to live in one of the most expensive area codes in Florida. And the little bitty community is called 30A. And I did a whole video on it on YouTube. So you can check it out. It's check me out at Justin Wanders. And then the video I'm talking about is called Justin Wanders 30A.
Okay.
So anyhow, it's such a beautiful area, such a beautiful community, but I had a job there, and when I first moved there 5 years ago, I was a massage therapist and an esthetician.
Okay.
And it was a great job. I was making like $2,500 a week. I didn't have a lot of bills. I had a beautiful condo, had a beautiful new car. I was literally living the life. And things started going downhill, and I started seeing some things about the business that I just didn't like.
Yeah.
So I had to make a decision, and I walked in one day, and I literally looked at my boss in the face, and I told him that I quit. I did not have friends or family around me. I did not have a bank account because I was spending my money just as fast as I could get it. I literally had nothing, but I knew in my heart of hearts, and I'm really summing the story up for you. I knew in my heart of hearts that I was making some sort of a right decision somehow.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how, but I just knew that there was something about this decision that was right for me. So I went to my condo that night and I cried. And because I was like, okay, this means I lose everything, blah, 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 blah. And I woke up that very next morning to an email from a couple who bought $2,500 worth of personal training services from me.
Wow. You're like, it starts now.
So I'm not saying that every person has karma happen like that for them. I'm not saying that everyone has that happen for them. But what I'm trying to say is this. I would not have been in a position to take them on as a client because I would have been too busy focused on the good money that I was making at the spa.
Yeah.
Those clients have no idea. They paid for my first website. They paid for my first photo shoot. They paid for every single thing that I needed to be done in my business. They have no idea that I'm sitting here right now because of them.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I did that, and I quit my job, and then I became this private sector personal trainer, and I was training everyone. I had so many phenomenal clients, and I built that business myself, and it was just this great, wonderful thing. And I would not have had that if I had stayed on and just stuck to the money that I was making at the spa.
Yeah.
But I knew that something had to change, which is why I was okay with letting that job go, because I knew there was something else out there. And then I did the same thing when I left America just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So when I meet someone who tells me that something that I have done has influenced them or helped them lose weight or has gotten them more money in their business or whatever, I take it as affirmation that I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's awesome.
Because my sole purpose in this life is to inspire, it's to motivate, it's to educate, and it's to liberate.
Yeah.
And when I meet someone who has experienced one of those things from me, then that's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, because we're doing something similar with Just Spotted Places. Like, our mission is really just to inspire people to travel the world, because it's like you become a better human just by experiencing other cultures, meeting people that you wouldn't necessarily run into every day, and just being able to live better as a result of that. And so totally can relate to what you're saying, where it's, yeah, you just get that affirmation. So okay, I want to dig into your travels a little bit. Your story is amazing.
Thank you.
So how did you pick Thailand specifically?
Thailand specifically. Okay, so the islands the beaches are really what drew me here. And I haven't even been to the beach since I've been here.
Yeah.
But the beaches are what drew me here. Because after living in Panama City Beach, I just couldn't imagine not being near a beach. But anyhow, so the beaches really drew me here, and then I started doing more research to find that this is really a digital nomad hub.
Yeah,
and while I don't like the term digital nomad at all, I see that there are a lot of expats and Westerners and digital nomads here, and it's a great space to meet new people.
Yeah.
And I'm always about meeting new people. And even since I've been here, I've met some people who have already just transformed my business.
That's awesome.
And what's even better about it is all of the community that's here, because all the English speaking people or all the Westerners, you know, they kind of know we kind of only have each other. You know, this isn't really home for any of us. And the exchange of information between everyone is just so polite, and it's so wonderful. And I'm so happy to be here. But more reasons for Thailand is the cost of living. Right now in the U.S., you know, I think we're paying around 35 baht to $1.
Yeah.
That's amazing. When I can walk downstairs and get some pad thai, all the pad thai I can eat.
I'm sure it's amazing too.
It is so amazing. Dude, so my apartment that I live in here is a full service apartment. It's a luxury apartment. I have a maid who comes twice a week, and I pay $350 a month.
What?
Yes.
No. I'm gonna be knocking on your door in about a week when I'm like with my luggage and my bags saying I'm moving in. I want some pad thai.
Yes, come right on over, man.
Oh,
but yeah,
dude.
so just little reasons like that. And again, you know, it only makes sense to me that if you make the money, you spend the money or invest the money wisely.
Yeah.
And in the U.S., things are just so expensive.
Yeah.
And I still try to stimulate as much of my economy as I can via online resources or things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So let's say somebody has that leap of faith similar to you, and they're like, I'm just going to move to Thailand tomorrow. How would, or what would you recommend that this individual does to kind of find this community that you're talking about? Because I've heard from a lot of people that it is a big hub for digital nomads, just people, expats that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
What are ways just to kind of immerse yourself in that if you become an expat? Like,
one of the ways is by joining the Facebook community. I think they have a Facebook community called Digital Nomads. I am not a part of that because I do not like the terminology digital nomad. But I'm just giving you resources because you asked.
Yep. That's awesome.
And also hanging out at any coffee shop. By the way, there's a coffee shop beside a coffee shop within a coffee shop here. So,
we're in Seattle, and that's probably the equivalent of Starbucks here. So,
oh my goodness, literally everywhere.
It's crazy.
So with that being said, you can literally go to any coffee shop you want to and just hang out, and some foreigner or some expat or some online worker is going to come through at some point, I promise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've been there for a little bit now. What are some of your kind of ambitions when it comes to travel, or like where are some places that you've been that have really gotten you to or inspired you to travel?
So I lived in Italy for about 2 years, and I lived on an active volcano called Mount Etna.
Okay.
I lived in a little town called San Pietro Clarenza. And on any given night, I could stand on one of my balconies and literally watch lava flow from the side of a mountain. And it was the most, I mean, a volcano, I mean. It was the most unnerving, yet, like, it was unnerving, but it was cool because the locals And they're like, hey, as long as it's spewing, that means it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, this is just. Anyways,
you talk about the analogy of naked, right? It's like you're just stripped down. You could die any second. You have no idea.
Any second. But having experiences like that were just so phenomenal. It was just so cool, and it definitely inspired me to keep traveling.
Yeah.
And to just keep doing things. So that was one. And then you asked, how did I think you asked. No, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what actually brought you to Italy then?
Italy. So I was in the Navy for 6 years.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Italy was one of the places that I got stationed. So I was able to travel all around Italy and just really have a different quality of life because I lived out on the town and I shopped on the economy. So it kind of forced me to learn life as an Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome. So what does travel mean to you then? Like you've had those really cool experiences. Obviously you're in Thailand now. Like at the core, what do you think the benefits of just travel are?
Travel creates exposure, which creates another element to being human.
Yeah.
And it reminds you that your minute problems in America don't matter to this woman over here who's hauling coffee beans from one end of the mountain to the other.
Yeah.
You know, it just reminds you that life goes on outside of whatever little bitty box you're in. And this goes for anyone, anyone who's never left Russia, anyone who's never left Africa, anyone who's never ventured outside. You know, like I said earlier, in a hostel that I was in Taipei, I read the whole life is like a book, and the man who only reads one page, or the man who never travels only reads one page.
Yeah.
Like, what else is out there?
Yeah.
You know, I've had so many great things happen to me, and I've met so many fascinating people since I've been traveling. And now that I've gotten out of my comfort zone and decided to make travel a part of my life, I almost can't imagine not doing it.
Yeah.
Because it just makes so much sense to me to be able to connect with people, see people, feel different things with people, experience life through other people's eyes. You know, I sat at a restaurant, this was just last week. I sat at a restaurant and I met a woman named Jilly from England. She was 57 years old and she drank me under the table. This amazing. Woman she's been sailing by herself for 30 years.
Wow.
30 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But, you know, experiences like that. And she was so full of stories. And she was so full of life. And she was just able to talk to me about just things.
That's awesome.
I love those experiences.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you have on your list now that you're in Thailand and you can use that kind of as a hub to go a lot of different places where you can't really in the U.S. or just North America?
Cambodia.
Okay.
Cambodia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Bangladesh, Bali, Malaysia.
Okay.
Those are the places I think I'll be visiting first.
Okay.
And then I don't know, we'll see after that. I may get tired of Thailand after 2 or 3 years. I may be ready to do Europe again. I've never been to Africa. I think Africa will be next.
Yeah. I just had a buddy that went there and that was not really on my map until that. Like there's some gorgeous places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to work towards wrapping up, but one question that I like to ask people, we'll see where this goes here because it could go any direction, is what belief do you have, and that's just could be anything, like literally something related to fitness or why you travel or whatever. What belief do you have that other people would think you're crazy for?
Oh, for believing that I can succeed.
Okay.
People think I'm crazy.
Really?
When I tell them, oh, of course, because I am a black man from America and I speak well. I am articulate. I
Yeah.
can make my own money, and that frightens some white people. And I don't mean to be, look, I'm not trying to be
No.
racist. I'm just telling you what it is. You know that racism
Really?
exists.
Yes, it does.
So when I speak to people sometimes, the fact that I believe in myself, the fact that I believe in myself and I am unbashful and unshameful of my own beliefs in myself,
Hmm.
that makes some people think that I'm crazy, but I have to tell them that somebody's got to believe in you.
Yeah.
Even when no one believes in you, you have got to believe in yourself. There have been so many times before I had a community or a platform to stand on. There were so many times that I had to believe only in myself because no one else around me
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
And when you adopt that type of mentality, it doesn't matter if people call you cocky. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
people call you uptight. None of that matters to me. What matters to me is that you call me effective.
Yeah.
Don't you ever call me a quitter.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
call me those things.
I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, believing in myself, absolutely. What would you say?
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's a good one. See, yours is super deep. I have random fitness things I do. Like I do ice baths all the time, which I'm sure you being in the fitness world,
Oh,
you're in all the
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started. There's a couple other individuals like Wim Hof. I don't know if you've heard of that name before. Holding your breath and different meditation forms that you get from doing stuff like that.
Okay.
So I actually recently hit a PR of holding my breath for about 4 minutes 15 seconds, which is crazy because I used to be a swimmer. Well, I guess I still am, but I used to
4 minutes and
compete.
15
Yeah,
seconds.
and I at that time when I was swimming, I could hold my breath for about 30 seconds. But now it's like, and it's similar to what you're doing. It's like there's so many things that people believe, like, oh, I can't do that, and they say I can't do that. But it's like it's that mind shift you need to take where it's like I can do that, and it's like the world's unlocked at that point, right? It's like as soon as you believe in yourself, other people believe in you, and then you can pretty much accomplish whatever you set out to do. And so like I love things like that because you almost are proving to yourself that I can do that. And so
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, and going back to kind of the stuff you were saying too, like that's another reason I love travel so much is like I feel like people that haven't traveled, that's really where you find a lot of this ignorance, where
Oh yeah.
as soon as you
yeah.
get outside and you surround yourself with people that have traveled, have been around, have met other cultures, like that it's crazy where you just compare those different cultures where you get the one that's like they've lived in this small town their whole life in some rural place and have never really left and have all of these judgments and things, and it's like hey, there's like a whole world out there, like
Right.
like come on. And so yeah, unfortunately that I've even come across that too, and it just blows my mind just how travel just breaks down these barriers and opens people's eyes in ways that I've never seen. Like yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
I think you're doing
Yeah.
a great thing with these podcasts, and I hope you keep up the good work.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So before we finish here, I want to give you an opportunity just to kind of pitch what you're doing, point people to where they can find you, social, all of that.
So, before I tell you my social media, I should tell you that I believe that every single person in this world, whether they believe it or not, has something that they're able to turn into a legitimate passion. I mean, a passion that they're able to turn into a legitimate stream of income.
Yeah.
They just have to understand how to find targeted audiences, and social media has made that free.
Yeah.
It's made that free. So, it's just a matter of learning how to package things up. So anyone with a gift, I can help. But I like to focus on my fitness professionals because that's really where my heart is. But you guys can connect with me if you want to see my travels. You can connect with me on YouTube or Instagram. And both of the handles there are Justin Wanders. So JustinWanders.
Okay. Awesome.
That's where you guys can connect with me. Or JustinBrownFitness.com.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll definitely put those in the show notes. But it's great connecting with you here, and definitely encourage people to check you out.
Thank you. It was great connecting with you too. And I'm looking forward to checking into some more places, Brian. I hope you have a great night, my friend.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you.